8:44 right now. Charlotte City Council back from summer break this week with a list of major issues on the table waiting for their attention. We're talking toll lanes, teen takeovers, e-bike safety. Joining us live this morning is Councilmember Dante Anderson. Dante, good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Let's start off with e-bikes. It's something that the Safety Committee talked about yesterday. You're the chair of that committee. People calling for tighter regulations. You see these things everywhere, and not always in the safest of circumstances.
Absolutely. There's just been a proliferation of motorbikes. So these are motorbikes that many think are electronic bikes, but they're actually much more powerful. They don't require pedaling, and many people are riding them on the sidewalks, in the streets, including our youth, without protective gear at all. And so we've seen some of our neighbors over in Cornelius and Davidson put in some good hard restrictions around that, just some guardrails. And so we are discussing that here in the Queen City as well.
I got you. What are the regulations as they stand right now versus what you would like to see them be?
So we absolutely have regulations around electronic bikes, what we know as e-bikes. Those vehicles go a certain mile per hour, not over 30 miles per hour. They require pedaling, and it helps people. It assists people in actually going out and enjoying the great outdoors, and also just in transportation in general. So we do have regulations around electronic bikes in an ordinance on the books today. What we do not have are regulations around these new motorbikes, and also the modified electronic bikes, that many are buying the electronic bikes and then modifying the engines so that it would go much faster. That's where we're seeing the real safety challenge in the streets and on the sidewalks, is with those modified bikes and with the motorbikes. So we would be touching our ordinance to update them to have some language around how fast these bikes could go, where they would be restricted, whether it be on the sidewalks, greenways, in the streets, as well as should you have insurance or license, depending on what age you are.
Last we spoke, I think last month, we discussed teen takeovers and what the city was going to do about it. These are basically huge gatherings, somewhat impromptu, somewhat planned, of hundreds of teens, often leads to other issues. As we head back into the fall, is this one of those issues where kids are going to be back in school? And do you anticipate this will be less of an issue?
Well, we hope that it would be less of an issue because kids will be going back to school. However, what we have seen historically is that these teen takeovers do occur during the school year, specifically on the weekends. And so our hope is that council will pass an ordinance that would update the curfew, so we could have tighter restrictions around that, of course, with a myriad of exceptions. We want kids to be in structured activities and have job employment opportunities, et cetera. However, as we potentially stand that up, we also simultaneously want to build up all the good things we're doing. The wonderful thing is this summer, the city of Charlotte provided over 700 youth with employment opportunities through our Youth Opportunity Office. We want to see that number go to over 1,000 next year. We want to see more third spaces and collaborative opportunities with the county and other partners so we can create safe spaces for youth to go so they don't have to be on the streets late at night.
Let's talk I-77 toll lanes. We can't talk without talking about that. Since we last spoke, Raleigh has sort of changed the game, is now penalizing some towns and cities for basically coming out against the toll lanes. Any sense where council is headed, because there is a deadline here?
There is a deadline, and since the legislation that you spoke about coming out of the General Assembly, we've seen many of our neighbors sort of reverse their course. Most recently, we saw Cornelius do the same and saying that they are withdrawing their rescission due to the millions of dollars that have to be paid back. But as we discussed last night on City Council, and this was in the Transportation Committee, and I was present for that discussion, but we discussed the various elements to this. We also received a letter from the Secretary of Transportation highlighting a lot of the community benefits and a dollar amount up to $300 million that could be invested directly into the communities that would be impacted most by this work. And so we are reviewing that. We're reviewing all of our options. We do know that the actual payback from the General Assembly would be a weighted payback based on your weighted vote. And Charlotte has the highest vote. And as each of our neighbors do take a step back, that means our percentage of the pie would grow. So we're just looking at everything that's on the table and trying to maximize all opportunities before that deadline.
Rapidly growing fluid situation. All right, Dante Anderson, Councilmember, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.